again, I think the big difference if you go to TGI Fridays and you have a couple of drinks and the baby back ribs versus going to a nightclub. It seems like I don't know why you'd need to go to a nightclub in order to bond. That just seems strange.
Because sometimes the DJs play good music that you wouldn't get at TGI Fridays or the pub around the corner from your house, and it's just a different ambiance. Like you come out and it's nice. You want to step out in your Louboutins
with
and
your
your nice gown.
Cute.
Yeah, I don't want to come dressed out to TGI Fridays just to come back home and change into some PJs. I want to dance with him on the dance floor and get it on Usher style, we in the club.
Why can't you do that at home?
Yeah, you can,
but I can just play something off my Bluetooth speaker and it's just
put the R&B station on.
Yeah, I guess we can.
I mean, personally, I only had really good experiences with my man at the club.
Me too.
And I've been a couple times with him. I never had one bad experience. It's always super fun.
Partying with your person.
Just me personally.
Look, I'll grant that I'm
you want to party with your person?
highly introverted and I fucking hate bars and clubs and shit.
Oh, okay.
Can you guys actually make a compelling argument or articulate what is actually fun about going to the bar? I can kind of understand. Hold on. I can kind of understand it a bit more from the woman's perspective. Free drinks, you're getting all kind of attention, male validation, et cetera, et cetera. I guess girls like to dance or whatever the fuck. Why? What's actually fun about it? And then perhaps what would even on top of that, what's actually fun about it for a guy? I just don't understand it whatsoever.
I think it's dancing with your girl. Personally,
my man on you, right?
Yeah, my man always has so much fun. When we're just dancing together, and there's not much places where we can just go and just dance and have fun.
Yeah.
And it's dark too, so you're not really looking at him and he's dancing bad. You guys are both just having fun, drunk or not.
And
we don't need liquor
too.
Yeah, the
depends
music
if
be
you go see a
vibing.
DJ.
Yeah. There's a companionship being.
Yeah.
There's a companionship being with your person and partying together and enjoying
yeah,
that.
there definitely is.
Concerts.
It's a vibe for sure.
Okay.
It's a vibe. I like partying with my person.
Are you maybe too old for that?
I mean,
I'm 23, so I'm still a party girl.
You realize that while perchance you may think that Brian is currently ancient, just a few years ago he was not. So the thing is and clubs, believe it or not, existed when Brian was your age. So it's I don't know why we don't have a frame of reference here. Definitely have a frame of reference.
You never went to the club for a show?
Oh, I went a little bit when I was younger. I was never a big drinker though.
You didn't go to people watch? You look like a people watcher. He does. Your whole show is people watching. You love people watching.
No, I went, but it was I don't know.
It's free entertainment. It's free people watching and drunk people.
Honestly,
it's hilarious.
It was never. I don't know. The whole experience was
the best
Not
place
for
to find
everybody.
that is out in public
It's
in
for
a
us,
park
though.
bench, not in a club.
Yeah. Last thing I guess on this whole bar thing, then we need to get the rest of people's relationship status. I guess going back to the whole differential thing, I guess what I was trying to get to is you guys do acknowledge, I know that look, I'll even grant that you guys go to the club just to have fun and dance and it's not necessarily to meet men, but you guys do acknowledge maybe not you, but you have a girlfriend who she's gone out one night and she's I want to meet a guy. Have you guys had that experience maybe for yourself? I know a lot of you are in long-term relationships or whatever, but you will admit some women will go out with the hopes of maybe a guy flirting with them or something. Sure.
That's the only reason that my friends will want me to come out with them, honestly. It's not my forte, but you got to support your girls. But we've always said that for us going out, just at least my friend group, the pregame is the best part of the night out. It's not the club.
Right.
My two best friends in New York, we will be at the bar or whatever for probably pregame for 2 hours, go to the bar for 20 minutes and leave, get pizza, go home, be we had so much fun together.
That sounds like a great night. I love that.
I think I've just grown out of it.
What is pregame?
But let me
drinking beforehand, having some cocktails, listening to music, finishing your makeup.
Girly time.
Yeah,
comes from tailgating.
And you guys, those of you who've been out, you guys do acknowledge that when you do go out, there are men there who are interested in hitting on you, sexually pursuing you, et cetera, et cetera. You guys acknowledge that, right?
That's anywhere we go.
Grocery
out on the
store,
street. Yeah,
anywhere.
you can walk to the grocery
The
store.
gas station.
Yeah, sure. I mean, you could be at Trader Joe's. A guy could come approach you. I would say it's probably more anticipated that it's going to happen at a bar or nightclub.
Exactly.
And also, I don't know, shit goes down in the bars and clubs. I don't know. I don't think in the history of Trader Joe's there's ever been like a guy approaches a girl and then like 5 minutes later he's like finger banging her or some shit.
That's true.
That sounds like
I've seen. Look, I've went to these clubs and parties and shit. I've seen stuff happen. Sure, you know, they'll hook up, they'll leave the club together, they'll fuck. Like, I don't know if in the history of Trader Joe's, that's maybe, who knows, some guy with like immaculate riz or some shit. But
Yeah.
That only happens
you
at Home
reach
Depot.
for the lettuce
only
at
Home
the same
Depot.
time.
Home Depot. It goes down at Home Depot for sure. But so knowing this, I guess, and knowing, like, here's the difference, right? So men and women, we flirt differently. So like you said earlier, like the way you'll kind of flirt, right, is you might just like something. You won't actually slide into a DM. You'll go out to the bar or whatever. Even granting that when you do go to these environments, maybe that's not your intention, but you are. Have any of you met a guy from a party, bar, or club?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, you guys been in relationships forever. So.
Yeah, I have.
You have. What about you?
I
I
dated
mean, I
one.
would say so.
Yeah? Deborah, what about you? Barbara?
My longest relationship, actually, I met him in a club in Israel.
Okay. And so
Wow.
going into that though, like, were you going out though with like, I really want to meet a guy tonight?
I was on a program, so there was like a couple hundred of us that would go and like basically just take over the clubs that we went.
Oh, is it
so he was on a.
Birthright?
It
Or-
wasn't. It was
or what's it
college in
called?
Israel.
Okay.
Bar Ilan.
Yeah.
But there's a bunch of different programs like that, and he was on a different program, and then.
Right.
Everybody just happened to be there that night, and
Sure.
then we made out in the club, and then we dated for like almost 2 years.
So it seems like, okay, here's the dilemma that I see though. It's like, okay, so when you get into a relationship, because men and women flirt differently, I think we can all agree that neither the man or the woman should, like, you shouldn't go and actively approach somebody, right? Like, that would be cheating if the guy went up to a girl and like hit on her, right? That'd be cheating.
While in a relationship.
And that'd also be cheating if the woman went up to somebody and hit on them.
100%.
But this sort of ignores the like asymmetry between men and women. Women don't really do that. So the way that you guys flirt, and this is very, if your intention is to find a guy, and some of you have met men in these sorts of environments, the way that you will flirt is you'll put yourself in a position for men to come and approach you. That's your method of getting men.
We're being
we don't-
exposed.
Yeah, you won't like really slide into a bunch of occasionally, but you won't like really slide into DMs. You won't like go up to men at these environments, but you'll put yourself in a position. Maybe you'll put yourself in proximity, stand next to them,
So you can see us.
You're saying it's like cat and mouse, essentially.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So the way in which women will flirt doesn't change once
It's
they're in a
very, it's more
relationship.
So you say women
strategic.
bait?
It's more strategic,
No,
basically.
but hold on. I'll tell you what I'm getting at. And so, in a relationship, we only like shut down the ways in which men flirt, but there is no expectation really that's placed on women that men need to shut down the way you guys make yourselves available to men. So you continue, when you're in a relationship, a lot of women continue their single conduct. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but
The way we conduct ourselves when we're single would not be acceptable once we're in a relationship, but the way you guys conduct yourselves when you're single, that's never challenged, and I think it ought to be. So if you're in a relationship with a guy, you got to stop posting revealing photos. You got to stop dressing revealing, and you got to stop going out to bars, clubs, and parties. Even if you have no intention of approaching a guy, you know going to these events, you will be approached. So
Some
in the
guys
same-
like that, though.
Hold
They
on.
like their girl getting attention.
Not really. So in the way that we have to shut down our options, you don't shut down your options when you guys are in a relationship, and I find that interesting.
But Brian, have you never had the experience with girls where you're just like, excuse me, do you have a tissue? And they're like, I have a boyfriend. Don't speak to me. There are so many women who act
Yeah,
like
they
that where
are.
they won't even
What's your name?
talk
My name
to
is I
another
have
man. Literally, like, I have a boyfriend. They're like, I'm just trying to seat you at your table for dinner. So I think it just comes on every side, but I definitely agree with you. And I think to take it a step further, that if you don't want to do that, if you're not with somebody who makes you want to, you know, just put his eyes on you and really only pursue that relationship, then I don't think you're with the right person. And I think every girl has experienced that, where a guy, when you're talking to a guy, he either makes you want to never speak to another man ever again, or reminds you how much better you can get, and then encourages you to date
Like my
more
case.
and
Yeah,
find a
well,
better
look,
match for yourself.
I'm perfectly willing to grant that there are women who are in relationships who go to these environments and they will shut down 100% of the men 100% of the time. That might very well be the case, although there's certainly situations where, like, I mean, women have a hypergamous nature. There very well could be a case. It's like, well, are we like in like an argument phase of our relationship, and this guy's like, I don't know, if this other guy who's stepping to you, if he's like exceptional in some additional way, like you just got to close down your options. But even putting that aside, if you guys are looking to men to be leaders and to be protectors, one component of us being protectors would be we have to have some say and authority when it comes to your conduct and protecting the relationship. Because if you're going to these parties, let's say you have no intention of cheating, some guy could roofie you, we're looking out for you, I don't want you in the club, and somebody could put something in your drink, some guy could grab your ass and you feel terrible about it. And that's terrible behavior, but guys are drunk, they do that shit. I don't want to expose my girlfriend to that kind of conduct from other men. And also just, I don't drink and party and all that stuff. So like, I'm not dating women who do this for the most part anyways, but we're just trying to protect you, so.
I like that point of view.
But that's why, like, when I said I get paid to go here, I know the promoters, like, they'll get us a section for me and my girls to sit at. So our drinks aren't anywhere near where it can get roofied on the dance floor, or guys aren't close enough to be smacking our ass. Like, we're literally sitting, enjoying ourselves in the club, and we have our own secluded area to dance if we did want to dance. We don't have to step onto the sweaty dance floor in close proximity with strangers.
I'm just curious, like, look, I'm not... there's different kinds of clubs, different kinds of environments. I mean, I know you're saying that, but like, to me, just from a business perspective, the reason they have the women in the clubs is like the men, they want to talk to the women, they want to interact with the women. You're saying, well, you've got your little space. So you're saying in the history of all the times you've been to a bar and you have your section, no guy has ever talked to you ever?
Well, I have single friends who are there with me, so they'll go off and mingle, or they'll go talk to some guys, and it's not technically me who's bringing guys to the clubs, but it's the girls that I bring. And guys see more girls are in the club, so they're willing to pay a cover fee, or they're willing to spend for a couple of drinks at the bar to get tipsy to go hit on some girls. They're willing to spend on the girls who are there to milk their money.
Throughout the course of your relationship, when you were going out to the bars and the clubs, did a guy at the club or bar ever say anything inappropriate to you? In fact, you already admitted to this, because you said there were a few times you were out even with your boyfriend and you were hopeful that he would intervene in some way, but he didn't because he's non-confrontational. Okay, so you even admitted that it happens.
Yeah, when you go out, even with your boyfriend, I feel like some guys have no regard for relationships. Sometimes having a man will make them want to hit on you more, some of my experience.
Okay.
Like compete with him.
Yeah.
So that's even, I mean, that seems...
Sounds like a really good reason to not go out to the club.
But
Yeah.
even being a singer-songwriter, when I go perform at all these clubs, bars, venues in LA, like, there are guys who are fawning over me in the crowd, and my boyfriend has to, like, witness this. What can he do?
Not go to the bar or club?
He's just there to support me performing.
What, you're doing a performance.
I perform at clubs and bars too, and there's guys in the clubs and bars who find me attractive.
Okay. All right. Well,